Flagg has declared for the 2025 NBA draft. He announced on social media. We got a former Dookie right here, and Carlos Boozer. Booze, what's your reaction to Flagg going to the big leagues?
Yeah, no surprise here. Excited for him. The unprecedented, probably be the #1 pick in the draft. Had a phenomenal year. Led the Blue Devils in every major category this year. Had a great run. Fell a little bit short of the championship, but excited for Coop and what lies ahead for him.
Absolutely. All right, Stephen A.
I love the kid. I think he's the #1 overall pick in this upcoming draft. I don't think there's any question about it. The only blemish on his career is there was 4 times that he had a chance to win a game, and he failed all 4 times, you know. But that's just the last play, the game-winning shot. That happens. You certainly miss more than you make. Even the greatest of them all has done that. We understand that. But in the end, being 6'8", 6'9", his ball handling, his passing skills, his shot-making ability from short range, long range, can play with his back to the basket, facing the basket, plus he'll defend, plus he'll block shots. This brother is the total package, and he is going to be the #1 overall pick in this upcoming NBA draft. It is no secret what he was going to do because there's no reason for him not to. He's that dude.
Shay?
Yeah, this was the worst kept secret in America. And I laughed at every time people say, well, he might come back because he really loves college. Really? Really, people? You can't get, boo, you have been an NBA player, gone in the draft as a top 5. Boo, you can't get hired in one. Come back to do what? Considering where the money is now, it makes no sense because all you're doing is prolonging being away from the bigger bag that you're going to get. They're not going to give him the NIL or the collective that he would get going #1 overall or as a top 3, top 5 pick. So this made no sense, and everybody thought he really loves college and he could stand to use another year. No, he couldn't. He's the best player in college basketball. Everybody knew that he was coming out except those that wanted him to go back, but it was a no-brainer. He's sensational, and you hear about them, how they talk about him, Stephen A., when he went against the Olympic team and how he was getting the buckets against those guys. Everybody raved about him. I'm talking about NBA players was raving about a guy that was just a couple of months removed from high school. Told me everything I needed to know about Cooper Flagg, and he didn't disappoint his 1 year at Duke.
Well, Shannon, the last thing I'll say about this subject is this. 2 things can be true. He could have absolutely made the right decision. It could be the worst kept secret in the world because there's no way he couldn't have gone. But in the same breath, Duke, North Carolina, just 8 miles apart, as Boozer can attest to intimately, that is a marvelous, marvelous place for the college experience. I'll leave it at that.
Man, that man wasn't staying.
I'm just saying, I know that. But I went to Winston-Salem State. I know that. But I went to Winston-Salem State, an hour and a half away.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Shannon, you called it the worst kept secret. Yeah. Shannon, your Lakers in 5 might be the worst kept promise because game 1 couldn't have gone worse.
No. We good.
Lakers on Saturday, we better get that other hand out. Were blown out of their own building by the Wolves, 117-95. Minnesota took control in the second, didn't look back. Luka had 37. Didn't get much help from his teammates, though. Lakers legend, the one and only Magic Johnson, plenty to say after the game 1 loss. First, he tweeted this: tonight, one of the Lakers' worst performances this season. They were flat. They had no energy. They played like it was a regular season game. He followed up with criticism of Coach J.J. Redick, saying Coach J.J. Redick did a great job all season, but he didn't do a good job for game 1. The Lakers stood around on offense, played too much one-on-one basketball, and he didn't make any necessary adjustments. Coming in hot, Stephen A., was the Lakers blowout the biggest surprise of the weekend?
To me, it was only because of the blowout, not necessarily because of the loss. It was the fashion in which they lost. After going up 28-21, entering the second quarter, they got outscored 96-67 the rest of the way. They scored under 100 points. Obviously, they've done that 9 times this year. Shannon, what is the Lakers' record when they've scored under 100 points this season?
Probably 0.
They're 0-9. 0-9. They got the score. And so Minnesota knows this coming in, and they swarmed them all over the place. And LeBron James, let's call it what it is, he appeared passive. He wasn't his regular aggressive self. I know that he knows how to be deferential. He knows when to take over. He's the second greatest player in the history of the game. He knows what he's doing. But this past weekend, he seemed a bit passive, to say the least. And you can't afford to be that against Minnesota. Remember, Minnesota will hang their hat on their defense. They know they got Ant-Man. They believe they can score the ball. They showed that they can shoot some threes from time to time, whether it was Randall hitting 4 of 6, whether it was Mike Conley Jr., obviously Ant-Man doing his thing, Nas Reed getting off. We get that part. And Jaden McDaniels had a big-time game. Nobody expected him to have that kind of game offensively. Yeah. But nothing about them defensively surprised anybody. So if you're the Los Angeles Lakers and knowing how you have to really, really score points in bunches in order to be successful, you're going to have to figure out how to become more effective offensively in order to win this series. Because I got one last thing to say. Ant-Man is coming. Game 1 is nothing compared to what I think he's going to do in Game 2 and beyond. He's coming. You better be ready to deal with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think ultimately for me, the others have to step up. I thought Luka was so dominant, 37 points from the tip-off to the finish of the game, did a great job of leading his team, doing all he could to carry those guys. The other guys have to step up. Minnesota had 43 bench points, 23 of those by Nas Reed. The Lakers only had 13 bench points. That's not going to get it done. The other guys, obviously LeBron's going to be phenomenal. I think he'll have a great game, too. We've never seen him play like this in a long time. I think he has a great game, too. But the other guys, the Austin Reeves, the Hachimuras, Hayes only had 1 point. That's just not going to get it done when all of us picked the Lakers to win this series, obviously probably win Game 1 at home. Minnesota's coming into this series with a chip on their shoulder, with something to prove. People forget about the run that they had last year where they fell short to Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. They're coming in with something to prove. So the Lakers, others, the complementary pieces have to play better.
I agree. Dorian Finney-Smith needs to shoot the ball well. And that's what happens when Luka and LeBron do what they do. It's the others. Because I agree with everything you said, Booz. I don't think LeBron is going to play this bad. I still think LeBron is dealing with that groin injury. Because, Stephen A., if you notice LeBron, if the ball don't come to LeBron, if it's not in the framework of his body, he's not doing anything sudden because he doesn't want to run the risk. And, Booz, you've had groin injury, hamstring injury. You know suddenness is the worst thing you can have when you're dealing with a soft tissue injury. With that being said, look, Ant-Man is the assist total. It's the wide open looks. They were getting shoot-around threes, Stephen A. Yeah, these guys are too good. The guys are too skilled. They're not. I don't believe they shoot the ball this well again. I can let Ant get 30, let Ant get 40. But if you let him have 9 assists and you let these guys, Nas Reed, and you let McDaniel make 12, 13 threes, you're in trouble. LeBron, I think LeBron was too passive early because LeBron has always had the ability, I'm going to see what these other guys are going to do, and then I'll get going. But as you get older, you might need to get into a rhythm a little sooner, Stephen A., as opposed because he had 0 points in the first quarter. He had 10 in the second quarter. He had 3, and then he had 6 in the fourth. So he needs to get going probably a little early. Luka needs to Luka might need to get everybody else involved as opposed because we know Luka in the first half, either the first or the second quarter, he's going to get you somewhere between 14 and 18 points.
Well, first of all, I'm very, very proud of you for bringing up the fact